traffic. A 75-year-old man was pushed by two Buffalo police officers tonight as the police were moving in on curfew violators. He hit his head on the concrete. He is in stable but serious condition, according to the Buffalo mayor. Now, the mayor there has ordered an immediate investigation into the issue. Both officers were suspended without pay by the head of the police force there. The mayor of Buffalo, Byron Brown, called the incident disheartening. Governor Andrew Cuomo says that it's wholly unjustified and utterly disgraceful. Police officers must enforce, not abuse, the law.
So these officers are charged with a second-degree assault. In New York, the second-degree assault that they were charged with is a felony. And it's interesting because what makes it a felony is that any person who has the intent to cause physical harm to someone that's 65 years or older, they cause that harm, and that the perpetrator is at least 10 years younger, they would have committed this second-degree assault, which is a felony. And both officers fall into that category. And the victim in this case, the 75-year-old man, obviously he is 10 years older than the 65 age. I think there's some questions as to the intent here. Did they intend to cause physical harm? They're going to argue that they were performing their duties. They were being asked to by the commander, the supervisor in charge, to push the crowd back. One of the things that is interesting that the prosecutor does here is my belief is that he overcharged the officers, knowing that he has the lesser included charge of the misdemeanor assault. And so in that instance, he only has to prove that they acted recklessly, so that they knew of the potential danger and they disregarded that danger, and they knew that some harm would occur, but they did not take that harm into consideration when this man was knocked over and fell to the ground. So then something interesting happens that I find extremely disappointing, especially in the light of the recent killing of George Floyd and the protests and the beckoning and the begging for police reform and police accountability. 57 officers of the Buffalo Police Department that are a part of the special assignment unit, they actually resign. They don't resign from the police force, but they resign from this special unit that they're assigned to. And this special unit is the unit that responds to different emergencies that they would have in Buffalo. So obviously there are civil unrest and protests going on, and the timing of their resignation was ill-timed, right? You put the Buffalo Police Department in a position where they are unable to respond, knowing that Buffalo needed this additional support. But what I find interesting and deplorable is the officers resigned having had an opportunity to watch the video, which tells me that they resigned in a showing of solidarity. And if you resign in a showing of solidarity, that means as a police officer, you watched the video and you saw nothing wrong with the conduct, which is extremely concerning and disturbing. And I'm not going to go in so far as saying that it demonstrates policing across every police department, but it definitely gives you some insights into the Buffalo Police Department. That's one of the reasons that we believe they resigned. The second reason that we believe that they may have resigned, and there's much speculation over which of the two is the correct reason. The second reason that is rumored is that allegedly the police union went on record as saying that the misconduct of this special unit is no longer going to be funded. And so what I mean by funded is when the police union said that they are no longer going to pay the legal fees of officers that engage in misconduct. And, to me, that is the type of accountability that we need to see in policing if we're going to bring about police change. We need to see reform in terms of how police officers engage with citizens. We need to see reform in the use of force that they use against citizens. We need to see reform in some of the maneuvers, the chokeholds. From a legislation standpoint, we need to see an abolishment of qualified immunity, which puts police officers above the law. And we need to see that the unions and essentially the taxpayers are no longer going to pay their legal fees when they act in a place of misconduct. I'm not saying that police officers should not, I don't want them out there second guessing themselves and being hesitant. But at the same time, the police officers should be held to a higher standard. And when there's obvious misconduct caught on camera, it should be okay for the police departments, unions to say, from a legal fees perspective, you're on your own. Because what I believe that's going to lead to is better policing, more thoughtful policing, more compassionate policing, and less incidents like what we saw in Minnesota with George Floyd. Thank you for your time, and I hope to talk to you guys soon.